Ready to redefine your talent strategy? Let's make Redefine the word of the year for your success. Introducing RAS, Recruitment as a Service. Outsource your talent strategy with the O'Connor Group. Our four-tiered approach is crafted to align with your business, whether you're launching a startup or leading a thriving corporation. Our cost-effective solutions are designed to elevate your business and enhance your people strategy, ensuring scalability and strategic growth. Redefine your recruitment strategy with RAS.
Hello, everybody. This is Marcia O'Connor with Shadow Her. I'm your host today for our Shadow Her podcast. And we have a wonderful dear friend of mine, Sally Stetson, and she is one of the founders of the Sally Stetson Group. And she is actually now more on the retirement side of the house. So we're going to talk about that and go through her amazing journey. And so, Sally, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Marcia, for having me.
My pleasure, as always, Sal. And, a lot of women entrepreneurs listen to this podcast. And the big thing about Shadow Her is specifically around operations and how to make their operations better, faster, quicker, and more efficient. And we really do believe a lot of women just get so many things go on their plates that they forget sometimes to look at the operation side of the house. So the whole idea about Shadow Her was put together because of all that. But, working for you in a prior life as well, you had a phenomenal operations from the very beginning. How did you know to put something into place that was so successful?
Marcia, it's by hiring really good people because it's certainly not my capability. We had several people who, over the years, because the company is 28 years old, have just been really good at it behind the scenes. And so the key is finding a really good person or several people who can really give you the advice, the counsel, and you listen to them, and then they prove their mettle by making it happen. And we had a couple of long-term people that just made things happen from an operations standpoint behind the scenes. And clearly, if it was me on my own or with a couple of other people, I'm sure it wouldn't be the same. But having a couple of great colleagues, and I'll shout out to Jennifer Prefontaine, who just knows operations, has a good sense for it, a good eye for it, and has just had great way of just also challenging us when we weren't thinking that way. So it's hiring really good people and listening to them.
Yeah, I totally agree. But you had something special with SSG. It was an amazing culture of very caring, very thoughtful individuals, as well as the owners and all too. Like when you and John started it, did you guys think that it would grow as quickly as it did?
Well, to give you a little backstory, when John and I knew we wanted to work together, we spent a year of planning behind the scenes of what we wanted the culture to be, what we personally wanted to get out of the business.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a lot about sharing compensation, knowing that there was going to be a lot of bumps along the road. There are going to be up times and down times. So we really took a year. We actually did a lot of business planning. I think that set us up for success as we moved forward. And one really important thing was our culture, and then also the values and the mission of the organization. We wanted to work hard. We wanted to make sure that we were meeting the needs of our clients and found really good talent for them. But we knew the only way to do that was to hire really good people, treat them well, and also have a little bit of fun, but don't work people to death so that they're working 24/7. We just found a formula primarily of hiring many women who had families and had children, and we gave them a flexibility. And in turn, we found that they were really loyal to us because we were probably doing that before many other companies were doing it. And then we just always figured out ways to have fun. And as you know, John Salveson has a great sense of humor, and he just baked it into the culture easily with his sense of humor.
Like no other, for sure.
Like no other.
It was always fun, absolutely, and he always had a wit about himself too, that he just
Mhm.
has a joke for every little thing, which is awesome. You have
Yep.
to make it fun because work, I tell people all the time, your 70% of your life usually is around work, so you better like the people that you, work with as well as what you do.
Yep.
So, for sure. So, when you were starting, I'm sure you had a few hiccups, and we're talking to a lot of women entrepreneurs. Typically, they've been in business for 2, probably less than 10, and they're in that range of not quite yet, the revenues of 1,000,000. A lot of struggling in that world. And do you remember maybe one in particular struggle that you guys had to come up with, and it basically was like, "Okay, this is a struggle, but we'll get through this." What was that?
Marcia, there were many, many struggles. So for all of your entrepreneurs out there, you are not alone. I would be shocked if there was anyone that started a business that didn't have struggles. Those struggles came in getting the first piece of business,
Yeah.
a track record as a business. So being able to be persuasive, being able to work really hard to deliver on that. So that gave us one search. And then we could sell that we had done one search, and then we could do a second search. So it was a real struggle to get the first piece of business. And then it started to dovetail from there. Um, Another really big struggle was, when do we hire our first person?
Yep.
Knowing when to do that, and did we have enough cash to do it, and would we have enough business coming in? And then when was the second one? And then we had shared office space. So when did we move to our own office space? So the struggle of just knowing intuitively
Mhm.
when it was time, and when you kind of have to take the leap because you don't really know. Um, so I remember us spending a lot of time sorting through that. And then John got sick initially in the first year. So, and he was in the hospital. He was fine, but he still was not well.
Mhm.
And I had to take over the business. And I thought, what in the world have I done?
Mm.
And I know he's going to get better, but what do I do in the meantime? So there are personnel issues. There are knowing when to pull the trigger to hire an employee. It's figuring out when to acquire um, IT systems, when to
Yep.
acquire, you know, an applicant tracking system. All of those things that you really you dream of doing, but you have to do it at the right time, and you don't want to do it on the cheap,
No.
because it's investment in the future. So all of those things were struggles for us. And then 9/11 hit. So that was just a devastating blow. So it's learning how to, unfortunately, have to let people go and do it in a graceful and respectful manner. And then keep everybody, because everybody's watching you,
Yeah.
keeping everybody else um, engaged and confident that you're going to get back on your feet. All of those things wrapped up in one were many, many struggles that we had.
Yeah, but I remember 9/11. I was with you guys,
Yep.
and, um, I just think that you 2 were such phenomenal mentors to me of how to work with people in a very difficult situation. And, fast forward, I had to do that same kind of leadership when the COVID hit.
Yeah.
And you people are looking at you left and right. Everything you say, do, whatever, someone's watching you. And I learned from you guys basically how you did it with dignity, but you took care of people and you made us all feel very safe. And I took that, and I'm hoping I made my own team feel that safeness too during the COVID. But it was definitely a trying time until we got out of it, and obviously the whole world did. But it was more along the lines that was just a trying time overall because no one knew what was happening next. No one knew how long we'd survive. And, businesses were crumbling left and right. And you guys did whatever it took to keep things alive. So I kudos to all of you guys for doing that. But I don't think you realize how instrumental that was for me and what I learned from you to be a good leader especially when COVID hit for my own
Oh,
team.
I'm so glad, Marcia. I'm glad, because you hope people are getting lessons. And frankly, as an owner, you're also learning from your team of how to do things. It's not just a one-way street. So I'm glad it was helpful.
Yeah,
Mm.
it was. But, you have had a great journey with John, and you got to a point too where you eventually sold the business.
Mhm.
And, that is so funny. They always say that as entrepreneurs, like one of the best things in your life to like be able to sell your business. But it's also what they don't tell you is one of the hardest things in your life to sell your business. And what made it that time in your life, 5 years ago, what was that thing that said, it's time. It's time to do this?
We really were getting at an age where we're thinking we really need to think through succession,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to be stronger and better with more people in the
Yeah.
business
Mm-hmm.
than we could attract. So it was really for succession purposes more than anything else. So that we had, an exit strategy, if you will. So that was our reason. And things don't always work out the way you hope they will be, and they never do.
No.
But you just hope that most of the things that you were hoping to get checked off your list. And I'm still glad to this day that we did it.
Yep.
We're now going into a phase where we're exiting, probably prematurely. But my belief is everything happens for a reason.
Yep.
So it's just as devastating, today as it was in 9/11, and then the recession. My goodness, you go through cycles with every business, but
Yes.
um, you know, I do believe we had a great run for 28 years. We, just like you, Marcia, number of people who launched businesses, people who've gone on to great careers. And I'm very proud that we had meaningful employment for so many people over the years. And that's what I'm most proud of. So, and I'm watching my colleagues now who are landing in great positions, and I'm so proud of them.
Yeah.
I'll follow them to the ends of the earth. They're just an incredible group of people. So, you know, I think as an entrepreneur, there are going to be disappointments all the time. It's
Yes.
never going to be a smooth sailing, but you have to roll with the punches. You have to adapt and pivot pretty quickly.
Yep.
And even though you may feel things aren't going well or you're not happy with them, you've got to show a different face to your team and to the world. And sometimes that's difficult, but when you're a leader, that's really important.
That's what you do. And with that, we're going to go into basically advice that you have out there for entrepreneurs, Sally. But we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break to talk about our sponsors. Again, this is Marcia O'Connor, and you're listening to Shadow Heart Podcast.
When I founded Forge Wealth Management, I created a firm that aims to put our clients' interests first. Our clients are our priority. We create customized financial plans tailored to your needs and deliver them in a clear and concise manner. We are committed to our relationship with you and want to be part of your life journey. Welcome to Forge Wealth Management. We look forward to meeting you.
And welcome back. Again, I'm Marcia O'Connor, your host with Shadow Heart Podcast. Very excited to have Sally Stetson, co-founder and managing partner of Salvas and Stetson Group. And Sally, you were talking about, being a leader during some difficult times. And, I want to go into just more of like, what's next steps for Sally, as well as like pieces of advice. So let's go into what's next for Sally.
I don't know what's next for Sally. And for the first time, first of all, I think a lot of people can relate to this. I've worked since I was 16 years old. I've never stopped working. So, but I feel so confident in my own skin that I'm going to probably take the summer off once I wind things down and just reflect on where I've been, what I've done, and what I really want to do. Because I do feel at this stage in my life,
Mm-hmm.
then if I do something, if I don't retire and I do something else, it's going to be something I love to do and I'm passionate about.
Right.
And it probably will be completely different. So it won't be an executive search. I did that for 28 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'll try something different. What that is, I have no idea. But to me, that will be the adventure of trying to figure that out.
It won't take you too long, Sal. So enjoy the time and the solitude this summer, and because I know you, there won't be any grass under your feet too long. Not even close. But enjoy the summertime. I always tell people too, like even those who who have that downtime, take advantage of it because just smell the flowers, see the trees. One time, it was one year I was so busy with work. I remember the tree was so beautiful. It was all in like white flowers. And then you realize you're so busy then I was like, "Oh my God, it's green. When did it lose its leaves? When did it leave its flowers?" I'm like, "Am I that busy that I couldn't even take a time to take a look at the trees?" And sometimes we do that to ourselves that we do that. So definitely take the time to do that. But even if you're busy out there working, take the time. Right now is just like not while you're driving, but take the time when you're at a stop sign. Look at that tree out there that's so beautiful right now because it goes so fast, and that's how fast your life is going too. So make sure it's meaningful.
And
Um,
Marcia, can I add something to that? I
yeah,
think you're right. I think as entrepreneurs and as business owners, we are running at a very fast pace. And sometimes you have a problem you're trying to solve and you can't figure it out. I think by taking a little break, even if it's a walk for 20 minutes, just to give your brain a little space and give
yes,
yourself some breathing room. Many times I would do that, and I found a solution came to my head that if I was in the office still kind of fretting over it,
yep.
it wouldn't have come to me. So that's my piece of advice to all of you. And just get out and walk and take a break and observe how beautiful the trees are. And I bet you'll look at the problem a little bit differently.
Yeah, that people always say like, "Where's your creative space?"
Mhm.
And I don't know if people really have taken time to look into that, but mine is walking. Mine is definitely walking in the
Me too.
trees, usually by myself because that's where my creativity comes out of everything. And I get so glad that I did it because I'm like, I come back with all these ideas, but everybody has like their space. That's where their creative space is. And they should really cherish that because that creative stuff only comes out for me usually when I'm walking or the shower, to be honest with you. And but it definitely you make sure you appreciate that. So women entrepreneurs, they are hard on themselves, as you know. What would you say like your top three pieces of advice would be to them that are in that world? They're not hitting a million yet. They've been in business for 2 years or more. What would be like those top three things you'd say? Here's what I would recommend.
Well, I think the first thing that I'm thinking about is try to think outside the box. If you feel like you hit a wall and you feel as if you're doing the same things over and over again, well, you might have the same results if you keep doing the same thing. So take a step back, shake it up a little bit, try a couple of new things. And if it doesn't work, it's not a big deal. You pivot and you try something else. So I think it's just shaking things up. I think number two is making sure that you have a really good advisor, even if it's a group of people that you admire and that can be either a coach to you or it can be a sounding board for you, and really listen to them. Make sure they understand your business, make sure they understand what you're encountering, but listen to them. You might come out with one really good idea that can propel you forward. And I just say keep your eye out for really good talent, always. Even if you don't have an opening, keeping your eye out for good talent because it could be that one person that you could bring into the business that could make a big difference, whether it's in a small way or a big way. So being that talent magnet to think through and always be sourcing in your own mind, I'm going to have this list of people that
Yeah.
I'm going to go to when I can. But you don't want to start when you really need them. You want to start ahead of when you need them.
Yep. Oh, hands down. We preach about having a bench and having that bench available and taking care of those people, even though today's not the day to hire them, but have that bench of people ready to go for you at any time, for sure. Um, and then one last question is, you know, if you were going to write a book, and you really should write a book, my dear, what would the title be called and why?
Oh, goodness. No regrets.
No
Um,
regrets.
no regrets. I've had an incredible career. I've done many different things. Um, Certainly stumbled along the way, but I learned from stumbling.
Yep.
And I am an eternally optimistic person, which my good close colleagues and family and friends love about me, and then sometimes laugh with me about it. But so I always do believe the grass is greener, and that I do believe for myself when that door closes or I stumble, there's going to be something great on the other side. So I do think it's no regrets. And I think that that optimistic viewpoint, grounded with reality, is really important, especially if you're committed to growing your business.
I couldn't agree more with you there. And you are optimistic. That's another reason why so many people love you, Sal, because of it, because you just always have that optimistic outlook and you need that. You need to be around all that. Now, I also know being an optimistic myself, it's also hard to be that way all the time too, because you want to shoulder everything and make sure everything's okay. So definitely enjoy this summer because you deserve it and you've earned it, my dear, for sure. Um, and then I would just say, what you love to read. I know that you are a voracious reader. What are you reading right now?
I just finished a book I loved called The Secrets of a Charmed Life. And
Ooh,
it's by Susan Meisner, who I also love. This is the second book I've read, and now I'm just starting a third of hers called The Fall of Marigolds. I think
mm,
that's Fall of Marigolds. I think that's what it is. But she's a beautiful writer. And you read a good book when you really didn't want it to end. And
yeah.
Secrets of a Charmed Life was one of those. I slowed down. I really didn't want it to end. It's beautiful. I highly recommend you reading it. And it's historical fiction, so you learn quite a bit about World War II at the same time.
Interesting. I'm reading one from Marie Benedict right now, and the personal librarian, phenomenal one as well.
Yes.
And she also does a lot of history back in 1900s, and with Carnegie and Rockefeller and that whole group. And it's just, I love learning all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun. It's one of those you want to get in the car to listen to the audio, because I'm like, oh, I'll pick it up. I have a drive. I'll go. So, which is really fun to hear. I always love hearing all the books, but right now there's a slew of really good books out there.
There
So,
are. Well,
yeah.
and I'll tell you a little secret. I woke up at 1 o'clock this morning, and usually I'll read a couple pages and it'll put me right to sleep. I finished another book, and I stayed up all night,
Oh my
all
gosh.
morning, which so I'm probably bleary eyed, but I finished reading The Great Alone by
Oh,
Kristen Hanna, and
yeah.
it's based in Alaska. There are parts of it that are hard to read, but she's such an extraordinary writer.
Oh, wow. Another good one. Okay.
Yeah.
Writing it in for my things for the summertime. So I appreciate that.
So I'm going to take a nap this afternoon if I can get a 15-minute nap.
Well, enjoy that. Absolutely. It's so funny. Well, Sal, I can't thank you enough for being on this show today with us with the Shadow Her podcast and all the entrepreneurs out there too. By all means, learn so much from Sally. She knows so much out there. And if someone wants to get in contact with you, Sal, how's the best way to do that right now?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to keep my LinkedIn page pretty active. So, send me an invitation and send me a message, and I'm happy to connect with you. And thank you to Marcia, who does such incredible work to support all of you. I've just loved watching your career soar and all the good work that you're doing.
Well, once again, I had a pretty good mentor out there. So, hint, hint. And, just watching how you and John did your company, I would always tell Mike, I want to do what they did. I want to have a company that I care about their people and take care of everybody and all. And I think we have that. And so you guys were pretty instrumental in that. So thank you. And thanks for taking the time today again, trying to be on our show here. And, I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon. But like I said before, enjoy that summer, enjoy those books, keep those recommendations coming in. And for those out there who are listening, please reach out to Sally. She is a world of information out there, and she does get back to everybody. And take time to do that because this is free advice out there, people. And I would highly recommend doing it, especially if you're new to be an entrepreneur. So don't forget out there. Thank you for listening to our show. Believe in you because we do. All right. Take care, everybody.